This is Three Dog.
How can I help?
This is VGS, the only show where you can sit back, relax, and enter the world of video games.
VGS.
Introducing your intrepid host, the, brutally honest David Spargella.
As you of all people should know, there's plenty wrong with me.
And the mind and beard behind all things, Andy Borkowski.
I am a bionic god. Fear me, lesser creatures.
Listen, contribute, and have your say.
VGS
We should probably get going on the show, because we're going to run out of time if we don't.
begins now.
Andy Borkowski here, coming back from Fan Expo, a busy weekend in the city of Toronto. David Spargella.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Are you expo'd out?
I'm expo'd out. If you look around our studio now, if you're watching us on
Surrounded
Facebook
by-
Live or online, Video Game Sophistry on YouTube, 640 here, you will see that I brought in some of the artwork that we purchased at Fan Expo. Well, I got you something. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh.
But the Fan Expo event is basically the Comic-Con for Toronto. There's a bunch of games, there's a bunch of comics, there's a bunch of movie stars that actually take place. And today, we're going to be talking about PlayStation VR, particularly the Batman game. I got to play that for about a half hour at this particular event. People haven't played it in that extent before. And it's incredible. I cannot wait. Dave, you are going to lose your mind.
I had no doubt.
You are going to lose your mind.
I probably will. I'll probably break the machine. Just
You will.
So happy.
You'll be so excited. You will be throwing batarangs like they're cookies. You know they come back to you?
On the subway, I'll be throwing batarangs. Hey, get away from the door.
But I think the more impressive thing was your story. David Spargella's Fan Expo story.
Yes.
You had a chance, and we're only going to tease it now because there's too much emotion for you really to go into it as much. But you had a chance to speak with a hero, I would say, of yours.
He is a hero.
A hero of yours that has loomed so deeply in your heart for many, many years. And you might recognize him from something like this.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Yeah, that's the clip.
That's
you
the
wanna
clip I
choose?
use. Yeah, it's very
You got to meet Luke freaking Skywalker.
and the Joker at the same time.
Luke Skywalker,
Yeah,
Mark
man.
Hamill is at
Yeah.
Fan Expo this weekend, and you spent. Do you want to see how much? No.
No.
Okay, you spent
It's triple digits. Let's go with
a
that.
triple-digit price. David Spargella spent a triple-digit price
Price.
to take a picture with Mark Hamill.
Yeah, man. Did I lightsaber it or not? You'll find out next week.
Next week, if you go to our Facebook page on AM640, you'll see it. We will have the picture up, and you'll see exactly what he went through because it was pretty amazing.
My God. I mean, he's a legend. I had. I don't even know how. I'll tell you next week. It's. I'm so overcome with emotion here. I can't. But you had fun at the expo.
I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I got a lot of gifts, and there's one gift in particular that I wanted to kind of open on air here with you. If you look, there's a bag, a Battlefield bag right here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is from...
I feel like this is Christmas morning.
It's just for you. Why don't you take it open? So this was from the Fan Expo event, an incredible event in Toronto. Big thanks to the PlayStation team for inviting us down there. We got a chance to play PlayStation VR. We're at the EB Games. Those are earrings. They're not yours. Keep going.
You shouldn't have.
Merci. We had so much fun there. We got to play so many different games.
Is this purple?
And why don't you take a little look, David Spargella, the gift.
You got me a purple shirt.
Take a look. What does it say?
Lavender Town, may the souls of Pokemon rest easy.
There we go,
Give it to
ladies
the
and
camera.
gentlemen. Look to the camera, Facebook Live. Lavender Town, may the souls of Pokemon rest easy.
I like it. Thank you.
You like it?
I love it.
There we go.
I less than 3 it.
All right, what else are we
That's
going to be talking
pretty
about today?
awesome, dude.
No, it's just a little thank you.
Thank you so much.
I know you work really early mornings here on the Oakley Show, so it's tough to come in on the weekends and do this. So I do appreciate you taking the time.
With that shirt, it's well worth it.
See? It's well worth all the
it's
hours
well-
and
it's
not
well worth all
sleeping
the hours.
and sleeping underneath the desk?
No. Actually, on Wednesday, I slept pretty much the whole day. I got home at 1-ish.
Yeah.
And then I slept until 3 in the morning.
Okay, good to know. What else are we talking about today?
We are talking about, besides Batman, we're talking about No Man's Sky. What's
Yes.
going on about that?
Yeah, news of the week. We got classic news of the week.
Classic
with David
news.
Spargala.
Yes, classic news of the week. No Man's Sky. What else do we got going on? I mean, there's so much. PS4 Slim. Is it real?
There's weird little things. Apparently, Sony has not really announced it, but we know everything about it. So if you've been waiting to get a PS4, we're going to tell you about the PS4 Slim unofficially, quote unquote. And I have a story about nearly throwing up at Fan Expo.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's bad.
Oh. Did you take any gravel after?
I did not. I did not eat gravel.
No, the gravel
The
for your
medicine.
stomach.
I understand.
Pepto-Bismol.
We got a couple of interns here today. We got Cameron with News of the Week. We got the sea urchin himself. He loves that name. Richard Jellison is here. He has his bonus round. He's going to take us through. He loves it. It's nice. He likes it a lot.
It's brilliant.
He likes it a lot. And we're going to be talking PSVR. We got to take a quick break. Did you love it? The gift?
I love it, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I can tell.
No, everybody knows I love Pokemon, especially on the Oki Show. I talk about Pokemon Go all the time. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this.
We'll be back after this. We're back here at VGS. Thanks again for that, Dave. You and I, David Spargala, we're just going to talk about this, but these damn interns, they're chomping at the bit to talk about No Man's Sky. They all have an opinion, which is unfortunate. You heard about it in News of the Week, the big game from Sony, the big game that everyone was looking forward to from Hello Games. They claim to let you do anything, to walk through portals to different worlds, to learn new languages, and go through the game without ever harvesting a single resource and doing amazing things, creating your own societies. You can't do any of that. It's an exploration game that's fun but pretty one-dimensional and the same in the first 10 hours as it is maybe in the first 40 that follow it. I really enjoyed it. It was
40 hours?
Hey, some of these Mo's played it for a long time, so we'll see. But it's a really fun game in a short burst. Okay. And I think some people really didn't like it. And like we heard in News of the Week, they're getting refunds from it, from a service, Steam, that people use to get their games. Does this really matter?
Some people would say, money back?
No, yeah, the idea that you're getting your money back. Should we really ever be in a critical position to get money back? Should we all be critics?
Should we? Let's ask an expert.
All right.
Well, just give me a second.
I'm not insightful enough to be a movie critic.
Who's this? This Cameron?
Maybe I could be a food critic. These muffins taste bad. Or an art critic. That painting is bad.
There we go. Andy Bernard, classic office quote. That was great. We did that really easily, right,
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah.
That was terrible.
I'm sorry. It's late.
It's late. Luke Skywalker, you're in love.
It's that Jedi training, man. I'm telling you.
So people are, like we heard in News of the Week, people are getting refunds even though they played the game for 70 hours and they're getting their full refund back. Is this an issue for the industry that people can essentially experience a game and then say, okay, I want my money back, and not really paying for the experience? We got interns, Cameron, Anton, and Richard. You've heard them all here before. So Cam, I think you were one of the loudest coming in on this, the idea that art isn't something that you can commodify. You know, what are your thoughts about this giving money back sort of thing?
I just think that there's absolutely nothing stopping people from saying that they didn't enjoy an experience just to get their money back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you spent 70 hours, I don't care what you did with it. I don't care if you were streaming. I don't care if you're doing anything. You got something out of the game. That's what matters, and that's why you shouldn't be able to get your money back for something like that. It's a piece of art. Like, you can't go to a museum, pay your entry fee, and say, "Oh, this art sucked. I want my money back."
I bet you could. Like, I really think you could absolutely do that. I don't know. Like, I agree, obviously, on the surface, but what is the line that we put in the sand? Because some people could say a game that is technically broken isn't actually technically broken. Isn't that just as subjective as whether or not something is artistically palatable?
Okay, well, let's play this out hypothetically. Let's say that he never promised any of these things. like encountering different factions,
Yeah.
multiplayer
The
capabilities.
creators of the
and all
game,
that
you
stuff.
mean, of No Man's
Yeah,
Sky.
like the designer that came out and said all that stuff on several different media outlets. If somebody just experienced it from a third-party perspective, would they have a good time with the game, not knowing that there's all these things missing?
Well, why don't you ask your compatriots here? Anyone, do you think they
Richard,
would?
Anton?
I like the game. I played it for 30 hours so far, 35. I'm still not finished with it. I haven't followed.
So
the
you're
back
asking for your money
completely.
back. You're one of these scumbags.
No. I'm fine with it. Like, I just haven't picked it back up after a little while, but like I'm completely planning on keeping it on my shelf.
Okay, but the question he asked was not that.
Oh, well, okay. See, as somebody who knew about the things that were missing, I'm still just like, yeah, okay, it's a game I enjoyed. I'm keeping it. I have no issues with that.
Do you think that people would still like it, still be as mad if he hadn't sold this huge bill of goods?
No. I mean, based on trailers alone, which is what people are pulling a lot of information from, if somebody said, oh, look at this magical trailer, like I had seen one instance of this where they paired it with like a Jurassic Park theme and then had like a terrible recorder version of that follow it with actual gameplay footage, and it's a funny video. Go look it up if you want. But if promises weren't made and people just made assumptions on trailer footage like people usually do, I think the complaints would still be there.
So the game, there's an issue with the game.
It'd be an issue with what people had perceived from an image that may or may not have been within the engine.
There's another way to look at this, too, because this is Steam. This is a service that isn't a store that you go to. It's a service you can stream your games on, and it's a little bit different. Anton, one of our interns here, spent a lot of time at EB Games. You worked there for a long time, right?
Yes, I did.
So you dealt with this before the tech boom, so to speak, when people are streaming games. And there's a service right now that if I don't like a game, I can just bring it back to the store, not if there's a technical issue, and get my money back, right? There's something you can do with EB Games.
It's not exactly get your money back, but you do get the full amount you spent in store credit. So basically with one of the memberships, you can spend 7 days with the game. Whether you finish it, don't like it, whatever it may be. And whatever the reason is, you just bring it back in and just go, I want my money back. And we'll give you the full like $90 to put towards something else.
How's that different than this, though?
Oh...
Do you have a problem with this, first of all? Like, where do you lay on this line between Richard and Cameron?
I'm kind of the indifferent one. I didn't really care about No Man's Sky going into it.
Yeah.
I thought that everything that these guys were saying, like most of what I've seen from like press conferences, media releases, whatever it may be, was super vague. He didn't exactly promise anything, but he didn't exactly say what was actually going to be in the game. So my deal is I didn't really care.
It is quite like an entitled position, too, isn't it? The idea that because someone said something was going to be in this game that they're making or alluded to it, and it wasn't there, that we deserve to be heard and we should get our money back as the consumer. And I don't know, I really don't like that attitude when it comes to our role of people that play games. You know, when we expect so much that we need to get from things, and the idea that we're, voting with our dollars, I think really cuts away at game developers making something that's fun and innovative and different, like PlayStation VR, which I'm going to be talking about soon. Richard.
I think it's a similar but different situation as like the Mass Effect 3 situation, where people were mad at the ending, specifically the ending where their choices didn't matter and it was just a pick your flavor of Mountain Dew color for ending, right? Where this is a whole game where it was like, oh yeah, we have these things and they may or may not be there, but I mean, you got your hours in it, you got your fun in it, and I mean, if you're gonna try to get your money back after the 50 hours you spent on it, that's really kind of scummy.
Yeah,
but at the same time, Mass Effect wasn't broken.
No,
right?
That's a good point. Like there's a lot of things with this game that are broken.
You had emotional investment in Mass Effect, though.
Oh, so his heart was broken. Richard's heart was broken. If your heart was broken too about No Man's Sky, send us an email, 640tron.com/VGS. You know, what do you think about this? Should people just refund games after they've played it for 70 hours? You know, I can take back a Sea-Doo after I had a lot of fun with it. This is the same thing, or you with Cameron here, that these are higher art forms that need to be respected. That's my best, Cameron. We'll be back after this.
You're listening to VGS with Andy and Dave on Talk Radio AM 640.
That is way too epic for us.
It was very loud, too.
Yeah. Like, we do not deserve this. I never asked for this. No, Batman is probably one of our favorites series, I want to say.
Superheroes series.
Superheroes, yeah, way of life.
TV shows.
Mm-hmm. Games, obviously. The game franchise is your favorite. It's but the game franchise.
The
Arkham
Arkham series, it's by far.
Well, I got some good news for you.
Yes, I'm listening.
This week on Fan Expo, myself and Anton the intern, he was working there, so I made him watch me as I did this and take pictures, which you can see, of course, on our YouTube and on the Twitters. 640 Toronto.com.
Nice one. You look like a Simpson.
There's a yellow hue, okay? I'm not jaundiced. Okay. But I think the most fun that I had at Fan Expo, I am saying it, it's on the record, folks.
Oh boy.
The most fun I had on Fan Expo was playing the Batman VR game. It's made by Rocksteady. It's a launch title for the VR system. There are 30 million PS4s currently available. 30 million of them. If you want to get a PlayStation VR and play Batman, you need to spend about $700 Canadian.
Forget it.
Wait for it.
Okay.
I think that this Batman game is worth it just for that.
Yeah, and I think it's cheap too. I think it's like $30.
I don't care if it costs $150.
Oh boy,
because it is. I'm saying it right now. I played it for a short amount of time, but it is incredible. Anton.
Yes.
You, like I said, got a chance to before we get into it. You got a chance to see me playing.
Yes, I got.
I was Suave Batman, right?
Look at
this guy.
Before you answer that, do we have video?
Oh yes, we do. It'll appear on the Instagram and
fun.
Yeah,
and the website.
And the website.
I look good. I look like the Dark Knight. No,
you look like
He looks like the guy from the Dark Knight that goes, "Why can't we be like you? We have a right."
Okay, come on, man. Oh Jesus! I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh no, we're in hockey pads.
All right, Dave. I'm not gonna tell you about the game.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh man,
Anton, come on, pull it together, folks.
First off, I will say you were giddy, like you were happy. He was giggling. And he was
that's
like,
a quality that Batman has, eh? Giddiness.
And at one point, you couldn't get something out of your utility belt. It took you a good maybe minute or so.
Just like Batman when he gets confused, and he says, "How do I put this on my belt? Damn it!" Okay.
And you throwing batarangs was like the most amusing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Why? Why is that?
Because you threw it very, I don't want to say it, but effeminately.
Listen, that is something you don't think Batman has. It's being effeminate. All right, but I didn't need to go. All right, Dave's dead. Dave's dead. But overall, you also got to see what I was doing on the actual screen. And you saw me play the other PlayStation VR games that we're going to get into later. And you saw I was doing some pretty amazing things.
It was actually really cool. It wasn't just like a basic tech demo where they just kind of pushed you into a direction and you were forced to do what they wanted you to do. This one, you were actually the Dark Knight. You were a detective. You tried to solve a mystery.
And Dave, you were the Arkham Dark Knight. You were the Kevin Conroy Batman. So
who was there, by the way? I didn't get a chance.
What do you mean?
He's at Fan Expo.
Oh, damn, I forgot.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, I was him, so I didn't need to do that. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the Batman VR. So you start, and even the loading screen, I enjoy it because this is real 360 VR. It uses the PlayStation VR is a device you put atop your head, fits on the front of your face, and then you need headphones to go on top of that. This one VR demo, they actually placed it correctly on my face, so I couldn't see anything coming out. The other ones, they weren't placed exactly correct.
Light.
Yeah, there was light, or it was a little bit blurry. If you've seen some of the VR stuff or read about it, you know that some people are saying the screens are really pixelated. Mm-hmm. Batman VR looks almost like a 1080p game.
Wow.
And that's insane because I was looking straight ahead when the guy's trying to explain to me what to do. I'm just looking around saying, "Oh, hey, that's the Batlight over there." That's the bridge, yeah. And it looks real. You're in, Gotham City, which is crazy.
You're in
for
Wayne
me.
Manor.
Well, that's where you start, actually. When you begin, you're in front of the piano that Batman hits, Bruce Wayne hits in order to get to the Batcave. Alfred comes over. He's talking to me. I'm not paying attention at all. I'm grabbing a picture of my parents and throwing it up in the air to see what happens. And
you can actually do that, touch like random stuff.
Here, Again, Dave,
Okay.
let me tell you. So I'm
I'm
looking all
the one
around.
asking questions.
I'm
though.
in Wayne Manor. I'm looking all around. And as poor Alfred Tenpenny is coming to me explaining the important task ahead of me, just imagine Batman grabbing a picture of his parents and throwing it up in the air. Or then taking the bat phone and trying to hit the picture of his parents. And the guy, it's funny too, because you saw it, Anton. The guy's trying to explain to me what to do. And I'm flailing around.
He's standing beside you, and he's like, "Yeah, you got to do this and this." And Andy is like turning left and right, and he says, "Oh, look at that! Look at that!" He's
Okay.
so happy.
It was really like being in the world of Batman, just from the sounds, the art design. Full 360 VR where you can look in all directions is something that I didn't experience with the other VR games. So this was just a rare treat. One of the coolest things was when I grabbed the bat phone. I brought it close to my head.
Yes.
And I could hear in the headphones people talking. If I brought it further away, you couldn't really hear it. So it was I know it sounds so banal, but in a game to do that is one of the coolest things.
That is pretty cool.
So from that point on, you go down into the Batcave. You put on the, you get all your toys rather on the utility belt, the grappling hook, which works. You grab it on your side and you shoot to things to get to and from.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy fun. You get little batarangs, and that's when he said I was looking effeminate because I just kept grabbing batarangs and going, you know, if you can see it on video right now, it is a little bit of the wrist. That's all you needed, right?
It's a flick of the wrist.
But it makes sense, too, when you think about it, because they don't want people having to whale a fastball.
No, did you
in
have
their
it?
living
Here's the
room.
question: did you have it like an open space so that you didn't hit anything at all, or?
I did, but it wasn't that large. Like,
No,
it was a few feet.
They had you closer to one of the back walls,
Yeah.
which was really weird because you were turning a lot. So I thought that maybe at one point you probably would have smacked your arm up against the wall.
It didn't
right?
happen, though, because they were able to, I think, really effectively keep the interesting stuff really in front of you. So, yeah, you look behind you, but there's nothing really to do there.
Yeah.
So at that point, you put on different parts of the suit, and that demo ends with you putting on the Batman cowl.
Oh, boy.
Which is such a moment in like all Batman lore. I'm telling you, Dave, the love you have for Batman.
Yeah.
It would just make you go through the roof, like just go bat crap insane, for lack of a better word. So that was the one demo. The secret one, though, that I got to play as a member of press at Fan Expo.
This is top secret, folks.
This is top secret, folks. Was actually a part of the game. So not real spoilers here, but the very first instance in this game, you're investigating the death of Nick Grayson. Dick
Grayson.
That
my
explains
heavens.
it. All right, relax. So he dies, and
Nightwing dies.
Nightwing dies in this. This is a separate story. This is still in the Arkham universe, but like, don't worry, folks. If you ended, Arkham Knight and you're really confused with everything, it doesn't answer anything.
Yeah, it's not a continuation at all. Is it?
No, not at all. It's its own separate story. So in this one, you're in Gotham City. You don't actually walk to move around. It does what a lot of these VR games do, which is phasing. Phasing means you press the back button on the two controllers you have in your hands. You're holding move controllers as well.
Okay, so it's like kind of like the Nintendo Wii nunchuck thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
They're exactly those. So you press the button and it will just teleport you to a new area, which works well because they made it look like you're doing that as Batman by using your grappling hook.
Oh, okay.
So they gave you a narrative way to do that. And see, I'm getting too excited. I'm out of breath
It's
here.
okay, I know.
Crazy.
I'll get you some water after.
Well, yeah, I got to tell you, because this next part, it's something I always wanted to do in the Arkham games. And today, Batman VR, I got a chance to do it. Whenever you would tap a button and do detective mode in the Batman Arkham games, you try to figure out a crime that happened. It's fun. It's interesting. I really like that.
Yeah.
In this one, it's happening right in front of you. So you see poor old Dick dead in front of you. You take out your scanner, which is exactly from the game, see what happened to him, and then you need to adjust time. You know, they do that.
Yeah, you do the rewind and fast forward. Yeah,
the rewind and fast forward. But it's happening all around you. So it'd be as if, you just randomly got killed. Rich just couldn't take it anymore, tried to kill me and killed you by mistake. And we're coming in later, and someone's using the rewind to see a version of Rich like climbing over the table in front of you. And in this particular game, I had to identify when he got a broken arm, a broken... What was it? I think it was a broken arm.
A broken arm.
Leg, probably?
Yeah, an arm, a leg. Oh, no, broken arm, ribs, and neck.
Oh.
So you saw this terrible attack happened, and every time you're able to find one of these instances where he was really hurt, you got some great lore and narrative from Kevin Conroy right into your ears as Batman. He was so upset. This is the first. This is the first Robin, right? This is his boy. So he's so upset, and you hear it and you feel it, and when because at the end, poor Dick Grayson gets his neck, twisted off and snapped, and you hear in your you as Batman, I'm having a hard time.
It's okay.
This.
No, it's good.
You
I
as Batman actually take a moment and you look down and you feel it. And that is one of the best things a game can ever give you.
Oh, emotion.
Emotion, a real emotion. And it ended with you just kind of figuring out that you need to find a witness to make it happen. You went to another side to find it. But all I did in this game so far was put on the Batsuit and start to uncover one mystery. And it was the most excited I was at the expo.
Yeah. The one thing that really caught me was when you actually took off the headset and everything, and you're like, I don't feel nauseous. And
not at all. Not even a little bit. So listen, I know it's a big, crunch out of the wallet. Yeah. You're getting a PlayStation VR, but I think this is a real PlayStation VR game, and it's what we've been looking for. And I can't advocate it enough. Anton, just I guess final word with that, because I've been gushing over it for almost 15 minutes now.
As the bystander who was watching you play and watching the actual gameplay, I felt something for the game, and I wasn't actually listening to it. I wasn't controlling anything, but there was a part of me that wanted to kick you off and put on the headset myself.
I gotta try this.
Yeah, you gotta try. Well, we gotta take a quick break. We're gonna continue with more PlayStation VR. I did a lot of it.
And a lot of sickness.
We'll find out which one made me almost vomit in Anton's lap after this.
This is VGS with Andy and Dave on Talk Radio, AM 640.
Back here again, talking video games. Fan Expo is in the books, and I had the chance. Big thanks to Sony. They invited me there, even when the Fan Expo people said, no, thank you, we don't like the cut of your jib. I'm joined, of course, by Shaggy Davidson. He had a chance to, I think, make out arm wrestle with Skywalker. What was it exactly?
I got a hug.
Got a hug from Luke Skywalker. Yeah? Again, this is for next week. We don't want to get into it. We got to talk to our lawyers. Anyways, PlayStation VR. I got a chance to play a bunch of games. Anton, the intern, was there, and he got to see me play some games. We're going to go through two lightning fast ones. The first one, from Supermassive Games, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. You might remember the Until Dawn games. They were actually really well done kind of indie games where it was a classic kind of thriller, a Scream type of thing. Frankie, what am I thinking of? Jason. Freddy, yeah, there we go. Bad guy killing people and you have to run away. So that was the other Sony game. This one, it has you on a roller coaster that's going through on the rails, and terrifying things are happening. I was on this little rickety cart, and there was a bunch of these oversized pigs that started giving blood-curdling screams as I was shooting pieces of meat that had targets on them. Yeah. And the only real enemies I fought were later when I went inside a dirty clown's mouth, and then there was these people with clown masks running at me with guns.
What the hell kind of game is this?
Well, it was spooky. It was kind of scary because there was moments when things would go all black. Well, again, you're sitting in a cart, you have two guns in your hands, and you're on an actual roller coaster ride. There were some instances where I had to avoid the bloody axes by moving my head back and forth, which was kind of fun. But yeah, overall, it's a different experience that someone should experience. I hate horror games, but I still, went through it. There wasn't a lot of repercussions for dying, because at one moment I thought, okay, let's just let, the monster clowns come and slice my head off. And they came up, started hitting me, hacking away, and it just reloaded a minute before. There wasn't any real repercussions for it, so I don't know exactly what they're going for. It's something that I would put on the table if you're having a party and say, okay, let's watch our friends play this. True. The screen, unfortunately, was a little bit pixelated, so it made me feel a little uneasy. I did just stuff about 100 pounds of Chinese food in my face. But the next game, So it was fun. You know, it's something I think you should experience. It's something that will be in the top PSVR games when you get them. The next game, though, Anton the intern can attest to, I had a bit of trouble. What happened after I got off the next game?
Basically, he got off and he came up to me, placed one hand on my shoulder, told me he was gonna feel nauseous. Then in turn, then after burped and it smelt like he puked in his mouth.
Okay, that wasn't needed for the color commentary, Anton.
You said color.
That added some color. I played Res Infinite. It's the Dreamcast game. And I don't know, man, like it I have never really felt sick from playing a game before. And this made me feel really sick. It's a really hard game to describe if you're not already familiar. You know, look it up online, Res Infinite. You're a floating geometrical object that is going through other geometrical objects. You move around by moving your head, and you have a cursor on the screen that you're trying to link together different ships that are attacking you, and it's going really, really, really fast. And you're going really fast, too. And you're moving your head back and even now, I'm getting a little sick.
So you got
talking
seasick.
about it. I got seasick, yeah. It's weird. The roller coaster game didn't make me feel sick, but this one did. It might have been, again, just from doing the VR stuff back to back. But no, it was a difficult process to get through. As I said in the previous segment, Batman VR is leagues above both of these things. It's an actual game, right? As opposed to these things which are kind of like tech demos. But 30 million PS4s are currently in people's homes. It costs $700 Canadian to get this thing. If you want a VR experience, I'll go on the record right now. PlayStation VR is probably the one you should get in 2016. The other ones are $1,200. They don't really have the same sort of games. It's not really friendly to just play with your friend. You know, the other ones are more tech demos of trying to experience the tech and play different games by yourself on your computer. PlayStation VR, I think, will be in my home Christmas time, and I think it'll hit a lot of homes by Christmas, especially because I'll be playing Batman. Anton, anything else to add from how I look there? Because I was playing it, and he was just floating around, kind of looking at me, taking photos, which you can see online.
Well, with Res, for sure, I understand why you felt sick. You were moving significantly more, and it was going way too fast for what you were doing. You were just sitting there, and it seemed like it was just a console game just slapped into VR. That was it. Like,
I don't know how people could like enjoy that really in that way. Just give me Batman.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I always said. All right, we got to take a quick break. After this, we got some interns with bonus round. Anton's leaving, then he's coming back. We're going to talk about the PlayStation Slim. Where are we? Find out.
This is VGS with Andy and Dave on Talk Radio, AM 640.
Back here again. We're almost PlayStationed out.
So we need a Nintendo Music bed.
That's it. But we're talking a lot about PlayStation VR, how much I love Batman VR. And up right now, we're going to talk about the PlayStation Slim. No, we're not, because it's not officially out yet, and we don't want to upset Sony.
And we don't want to trust someone with a My Chemical Romance t-shirt
Okay.
in a YouTube video.
All right. Yeah. So basically, there's some videos going around about people that are claiming to have the new PlayStation Slim. It looks like it is a real thing, but I don't want to, Dave, we shouldn't just rip on their content and take that.
Our reputation wouldn't.
Yeah. Look around. We're reputable people. We're reputable people. Luke Skywalker gave you a hug, man.
He would stop training me.
Yeah, he would not. You kidding me?
He would.
He's going to be talking in your dreams.
He would cut off my arm or my hand.
Or your hand?
My hand.
Okay, we'll talk about this more. How about that Batman VR though?
It's very exciting. I'm very excited to go and try it.
That was a very uniform response.
No,
it's very
am,
exciting.
man.
I very want to do it.
No, I really do. I really want to try it.
I think you'll. I'm worried.
I know I'll love it.
I hope I didn't.
It's okay.
Give
Don't
you
worry
too
about
much of a hard sell on it, so that when you come in, you'll be like,
it's
fun.
You can't hard sell and you can't oversell Batman.
Look at that.
Yeah.
All right. So instead of talking about PlayStation Slim, we thought, you know what? For this week, the interns are going to look at some of the consoles of the past that really, they just didn't do very well.
This is VGS with Andy and Dave on Talk Radio, AM 640.
Unfortunately, we will have to say goodbye for this week. We'll be back next week, as we always are. We talked a lot about online content and video content. If you want to check us out, go to the website 640toronto.com/VGS. And of course, in YouTube, type in Video Game Sophistry, and you're going to see a lot of my face, some of Dave's, some of the interns, if you want to put a face to the name.
And a sea urchin.
And a sea It's an inside joke. You'll see it if you go to our websites. So what do you say? Yeah, see, I understand. Good Fan Expo?
Yeah, really good. I didn't go last year because I didn't like the guests at all. It's too much Walking Dead nonsense. But this year was really good. I enjoyed it.
I did too, man. There's some big games, a lot of fun. Thank you again to Sony. Thank you to the interns. I posted this before. They really are the silent heroes, except when they speak. We have Richard, we have Anton, Cam. They're here this week. Thomas, yeah?
Yeah, and
our D&D brother.
We're getting Matt, who shows up once in a while.
Well, Matt actually does a lot of our video content.
He does.
If you're listening too and you're saying like, hey, I need an internship, I'm about to go to a higher learning institution, we give them. We got interns.
Yeah, we do.
It happens. All right. I want to laugh. Inside jokes coming up next. Sandra, I'm Andy Burkowski.
I'm Shaggy Dave.
Next week, back to normal, folks.
Is it?
I don't know.
You got to find out about my Luke Skywalker story. That's next week. See you then.